Hi, class, and welcome to Science 555, Forensic Science. I'm your instructor, Dr. Nancy Heilbrenner, and as you probably know a little bit about me since you probably watched the introductory video, I was a science teacher for a number of years and really enjoyed all the hands-on lab kinds of things, and so we're going to be doing some of that in this course. This course is designed to help you understand the hard science behind how forensic scientists investigate particularly crime scenes. And there are lots of different ways. You might have seen CSI and other shows like that. You're going to find out that it's actually much more detailed and maybe slower, maybe not as glitzy as those shows portray. At any rate, this lecture is designed to help you understand a little bit about the structure of the course. So I'm taking this right out of the syllabus. This is the course description, and as you can see, we'll be going into a lot of different areas of science, physical, chemical, biological. We'll be looking at a lot of different kinds of procedures that are used, not only the most famous ones, fingerprint analysis and DNA analysis are probably the most famous ones, but other kinds of things like how scientists examine skeletal remains, for example, to understand what's happened at a crime scene, um, how they understand bullet ballistics and the trajectories of that. So different kinds of things. There will be some lab activities that you'll do at home. But remember, the second part of this course, besides learning the hard science, is also about learning what it can do in the science classroom to teach middle and high school students about science content and science skills. So that'll be like the the ongoing theme as we progress through the class. You could take a look at the student learning outcomes that's embedded in the syllabus if you'd like. Let's talk for a moment about the course policies. It goes without saying that you should try to keep yourself on a schedule. Students who devote a regular time to work on each course online generally tend to do better. Online courses are more demanding in terms of the fact that they require that you take responsibility for when you work on something. It's not like showing up once a week to an in-person class. I have a fairly lenient policy because I think we all get behind. But my fairly lenient policy about late submissions is that I will accept most assignments in class with a 10% late point penalty, and that only applies up to a week after the due date. So if you miss it after a week, I can't accept it anymore. There are two assignments that this does not apply to, the final exam and the extra credit opportunity that I'll talk about, and that's simply because they occur too late in the class. No assignments will be accepted after December 22nd. Now, I'm pretty strict about how you submit papers. All papers must be submitted in Microsoft Word, double-spaced and utilizing APA format. I won't accept papers PDF, for example. Sometimes I get papers in RTF or PDF. I can't open them or I can't make comments on them, and I'll just send it back and say, please submit it as a Word file. If you email it to me, I can't count it. It can only be counted if you submit it to the link in Blackboard. I've provided a number of writing resources for you on the course site. This is one of them. The Purdue OWL APA site is excellent for helping you know how to format things in APA style. There's an example of an APA paper there as well. And there's a little exercise or a little 12 rules. If you just look at those rules, that'll be very, very helpful for you in writing your papers. And that's in the writing resources found on the course site. One interesting policy I have you may not have come across, students really seem to like it. They give me a lot of positive feedback at the end of the course as I allow you to revise most assignments in the class. And the way that works is you submit your paper, I grade it and I send it back to you. And a week after it's graded, you may resubmit it based on my feedback. I find that really helps with student learning. And so I have that policy in all my classes. There are a couple of exceptions. You can't resubmit or revise the midterm and the final, and you can't revise the extra credit, the extra credit assignment. But other than that, you can revise and resubmit. There is a document about how you go about your revisions, and if you don't do it properly, I'll probably send it back and attach the document. Basically, what you need to do is to take the original file that I graded. Don't delete my comments. Don't delete anything. I make my comments off to the side using Word comments. Don't delete that and just make your changes, and it's helpful if you can highlight somehow your changes. If you send me a clean document without my comments, I'm going to be sending it back and saying, please revise according to this document. Go ahead and get the textbook if you already have it. The required textbook is Criminalistics: An Introduction to Forensic Science by Richard Saperstein. Please make sure you get the 12th edition because we are going to, from time to time, be doing questions out of this textbook. The ISBN numbers are located here. You can get it used if you want. You can get a digital one or a hardback one. You don't need any additional labs or resources, just the textbook. Grading for this class is based on the following assignments. There'll be 15 learning modules, one a week, and each of those learning modules is worth 2 points for a total of 30 points. There's going to be a midterm worth 20 points, a final exam worth 20 points. One lab called the Blood Spatter Forensic Lab worth 15 points. One case study that you research and write up worth 15 points. That comes to 100. And then there will be an extra credit opportunity that I'll talk about in a minute worth 2 points. So it's possible to earn 102 points in this class. The grading scale is here, so you can see what you have to get an A or a B or whatever. This is also in the syllabus. So let's talk about the assignments a little bit. We'll go much more in depth in some of these assignments, but just for a quick overview. As I said, you're going to be doing a learning module each week, and that learning module counts for 2 points. Activities will vary. Sometimes you'll be asked to watch a video, listen to an audio lecture, respond to some questions. You might complete an online or real lab at home using some simple materials. You might be asked to do a discussion post, but whatever you're asked to do, it's all going to be due on Tuesdays at midnight. Now, usually I'll post at least the next 1 or 2 learning modules ahead of where we are, so that I know some of you like to work ahead a bit. So, but regardless, it'll have a very clear due date. It's always Tuesday at midnight. Here's an example of Learning Modules 1 README file. Each learning module is stored in a folder under course modules on the course site. If you open that folder up, the first thing you'll see in it is a README file. This tells you everything you need to do in the learning module. So you can see here, the topic is Introduction to the Course and Forensic Science. And it tells you the learning objectives for the week, and then you can just step through the activities. Now, in some learning modules, you'll need to post a response to a series of questions on the discussion board. Not everyone, but some of them do. And I do discussion posts a little differently. There are actually 3 posts required. Sunday night, you post your response to the discussion questions, and this should be a fairly in-depth response. This is called the response post. By Monday night, you only have to react to one colleague, but you have to react in what I call a meaningful way. And that means a way that extends the conversation. So discussion posts replace classroom discussion. And so when you're talking to or responding to a colleague, and we call these reaction posts, by the way, You're reacting to something they've said, and it should be a way that extends the conversation. So imagine yourself in a classroom, sitting there talking to a colleague about something he or she just said. You want to extend the conversation by, for example, asking a question. You might say, well, here's my take on this. What do you think about that? Or have you ever considered this? It should be a response that invites a reply. And if it doesn't, you probably won't get full credit on that. Then by Tuesday night, check in to see who has responded to your post, your original response post, and close the loop. This could be as simple as, thank you, I hadn't considered that, or good point, thanks for replying. Doesn't have to be a big thing. Let's take a look at some of the other assignments besides learning modules in the course. A blood spatter forensic lab where you use fake blood to explore the patterns that blood make and learn how forensic scientists use these patterns to investigate crime scenes will be given that week and due that week, October 6th. It's worth 15% of your grade. You'll have to write up a forensic case study. That's due November 24th and worth 15% of your grade. You're going to complete a report sheet and create a narrative PowerPoint that summarizes the case. There's going to be a midterm and a final exam. The midterm will take place the week of October 27th, and the final the week of December 22nd. This is online, open book, and open notes, but it will be timed. And finally, the extra credit assignment is called Hollywood versus Reality, a forensic science analysis. This is where you will watch 3 episodes of a television show focused on forensic science, for example, CSI, Forensic Files, and analyze it from the perspective of what you have learned in class. And for all of these assignments, there'll be more information provided in class. This is the course timetable. It's found near the end of the syllabus. It tells you what week we're in. This week we're in week 1. When the module is due, Tuesday, September 15th, what the topics are, what your readings or video assignments are, and finally, when the learning module is due. If there's a major assignment, for example, look in week 4, you can see that the blood spatter forensic lab is due. That also shows up there. At the end of each README file is a handy checklist with a big double check icon there. Look at that checklist to make sure you've completed all the activities in the learning module. So for this week, the first week's due September 15th. You can just see the list there of everything you should have done. So that's it. You're ready to take the About the Course quiz that comes next, and you can use your syllabus or any notes you've taken. It's open notes, open whatever, to help you on that. And you can retake that quiz as often as necessary to increase your grade. That's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me through nhalbrenner@mercy.edu. And let's get started.